Meticulous planning is always the first and most crucial step to ensure a successful hunting trip. Only after that do we begin moving into the ambush position. With careful observation and attentive listening to even the slightest sounds, the team finally spots the first target. A fierce wild boar with coarse, bristly hair charges forward, darting in and out among the large tree trunks. Once the target enters my scope, I immediately pull the trigger. The bullet flies straight and hits the boar's body directly, bringing it down after just a few staggering steps. Less than 5 minutes later, a few more wild boars suddenly rush down. The moment they pause and then change direction, the whole team opens fire in a flurry. But the boars are incredibly agile. They manage to weave through the hail of bullets and escape. Under the fierce pursuit of the hunting dogs, a few more wild boars begin to appear. My gun is ready. I take careful aim and gently squeeze the trigger. Bang! A single, decisive shot. The boar loses its footing, slides across the dry leaf bed, and collapses. A lightning-fast shot. With a great start, the whole team eagerly pushes forward. As we follow a narrow trail, a dark shadow suddenly darts out from the roadside bushes. Without hesitation, I raise the rifle and fire. The boar is hit and drops instantly. But the real shock is yet to come. A whole herd of wild boars suddenly bursts out, taking us completely by surprise. The team fires simultaneously from various positions. Gunshots echo thunderously, shattering the forest's silence. Several wild boars are taken down right on the spot. Just minutes later, yet another herd charges out, this time even larger and more aggressive. Big ones, small ones, all rushing wildly. I hold my rifle steady and fire, but only one boar is taken down. Following the tracks, we head toward a cluster of nearby trees. A face-to-face confrontation breaks out in an instant. The shot is fired, and the boar is hit before it can even react, collapsing to the ground immediately. The forest returns to its usual silence, but our team remains on high alert. Gunfire rings out again, this time from Basil's position. Facing a marksman as seasoned as Basil, the boar had no chance of escape. I move westward, make myself a concealed hideout, and wait patiently. From behind thick trees, a few wild boars quietly emerge, moving slowly and cautiously. I only have one shot. I quickly pull the trigger. One shot, one kill. The large boar collapses heavily onto the ground. The next opportunity comes unexpectedly. A medium-sized boar rushes straight at us. With another single shot, Basil drops it instantly. As we exit the forest, we suddenly hear rustling from the roadside bushes. I nervously raise my gun, waiting for the prey to reveal itself. In a flash, a dark shape lunges out. Without thinking, I pull the trigger. 3 rapid shots. The boar lies motionless on the ground. That wraps up today's video. What do you think about this hunting trip? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to catch more thrilling hunts ahead. As darkness slowly descends, this place does not sink into its usual silence. The monsters have returned, gigantic wild boars rampaging through everything in their path. Our patience has reached its limit. We quickly assemble, weapons ready, nerves stretched tight. A breathless showdown is about to unfold. Watch now to witness this unprecedented, intense battle. Not only are their numbers increasing, but wild boars are becoming more aggressive. They no longer just destroy crops, they are willing to attack humans. In 2019, in Italy, a 77-year-old hunter was gored to death by a wild boar while hunting. The beast charged out of the underbrush and attacked him without warning. This story serves as a stark reminder for those of us venturing into hunts like these. We must always remain cautious. In the vast wilderness where these monstrous creatures dwell, anything can happen. As soon as we arrived and took our positions, a wild boar suddenly charged down the hillside. It tried to escape, but my quick reflexes allowed me to pull the trigger in time. The gunshot echoed, and in an instant, the dark figure collapsed, motionless in the vast jungle. After securing our first success, I headed towards my teammates to continue the intense battle. From a distance, chaotic sounds echoed, the relentless barking of dogs mixed with the enraged growls of wild boars. Suddenly, a gunshot rang out, but the wounded boar refused to surrender. It went berserk, dashing away in an attempt to escape the encirclement. Under the relentless pressure of the hunting dogs and our tight formation, the wild boars became panicked and disoriented. Gunfire erupted from all sides, and one by one, the beasts fell. Tears of triumph erupted among our team, a thrilling hunt, gripping to the very last second. Following the guidance of a local, we moved toward another hill. Spreading out along the gentle slopes, we quickly blocked off every possible escape route for the boars. From my position, I spotted a wild boar dashing right in front of me. A swift strike was executed. With a single gunshot, the boar was taken down in an instant. The distant barking of dogs signaled that the prey was near. I immediately took my stance, prepared for the showdown. Under relentless pursuit from the dogs, the wild boar was forced into a vulnerable position. It desperately turned back, searching for an escape route, but two decisive shots ended all hope. Elsewhere, gunshots continued to echo. Every well-aimed shot meant another fallen boar. Dark figures of all sizes, from smaller juveniles to massive adults, lay scattered across the hunting ground, marking a highly successful pursuit. A strong start had the entire team excited as we climbed higher towards the hilltop. From the hillside, we observed dark figures darting through the tree cover. They were not running in panic, rather, they were heading toward the mountain peak, where the dense forest could serve as a natural shield. One wrong move, and the entire herd could disappear from our sights. We held our positions, ready, but not hasty in pulling the trigger. Suddenly, a wild boar charged right in front of me. Without hesitation, I fired, taking it down instantly. Sensing danger, the wild boars turned and scattered in all directions. But this time, we were ready. My comrades swiftly tightened the perimeter. Gunfire erupted in quick succession, echoing through the vast jungle. The hunt had entered its most thrilling phase. Another heart-pounding pursuit was playing out on the other side of the hill. The hunters' shouts of excitement blended with the pounding of their hearts. Everyone was laser-focused, determined not to miss a single shot, nor let any prey get away. Guns were raised, locked onto their targets, resolute in bringing home victory. With each passing second, the hunt became even more intense. We had protected the villagers, safeguarded the crops, and ensured the community's safety. And I knew that no matter how tough the challenges ahead, we would always be ready to face them and fight for what was right. Thank you all for following this journey. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. Ever since I was a kid, I've been captivated by terrifying tales of monstrous wild boars, fearsome beasts lurking in the shadows. But instead of being afraid, I felt driven. Driven to learn, train, and become a fearless hunter. Tonight, My team and I are diving deep into their territory, into the dark corners where these ferocious creatures roam. A tense showdown is about to unfold, and only the boldest will prevail. Wild boars are powerful animals, but at night, they become even more dangerous. Limited visibility gives them the edge, and their instincts to hunt, flee, or fight kick in with full force. Some people have been chased for hundreds of meters through thick forests. Others suffered serious injuries for underestimating their speed and aggression. In China alone, over 10 wild boar-related incidents occurred in just the last 2 months of 2024, resulting in 7 casualties. Aware of how brutal these night warriors can be, our hunting team set out early to reach a familiar quarter, well prepared for tonight's mission. In the pitch-black darkness, we relied entirely on our scopes to track every move. It didn't take long before the first boar appeared. I fired quickly and took it down, our first successful hit of the night. Sweeping the scope to the left, we spotted another group of wild boars foraging silently in the distance. I picked one, isolated in the middle, and pulled the trigger. The heavy thud of its fall startled the rest, and they scattered. We kept adjusting and firing, determined to bring down more. We remained still in the open field, scanning patiently until another herd approached. Their course first stood out starkly under the moonlight. They were massive, arched backs, stocky legs, and solid muscle. I took careful aim, and with a clean shot, dropped one right where it stood. The others bolted, but we managed to land a few more hits. Still, none of us were disappointed. Hunting is never an easy stroll, it's a relentless battle. As the night deepened, more and more boars appeared, bolder and more aggressive. But fatigue was setting in, so we made the call to head back. Yet on the way home, we couldn't help but stop. An overwhelming number of boars had taken over a freshly seeded field. Gunshots echoed through the night as boar after boar fell from well-placed shots. For us, seasoned in the war against wild boars, hunting isn't just about protecting crops, it's an unquenchable passion. Though the night's thrills still lingered in our minds, a new challenge awaited us the very next day. As usual, we gathered in the afternoon to prep before heading back for dinner, gearing up for the real action after dark. By around 10 p.m., we reached our ambush point. The bait had been set, and sure enough, the first boar came sniffing in. As it stepped into the kill zone, I squeezed the trigger, one shot, one kill. But that bait didn't just lure one, it attracted a whole herd. The biggest and strongest were always our priority. 2 well-aimed shots brought down 2 more. We paused to catch our breath before the next round of pursuit. After regrouping, we moved past a small garden near the edge of the field. Through the scope, we spotted another herd hiding behind thick foliage. We had to move closer, and when the moment was right, I opened fire. The booming gunshot sent the herd fleeing. One particularly large boar wasn't so lucky. Back at the same field, the boars had returned. I locked in on the alpha, by far the most destructive, and took aim. But our wild boar pursuit wasn't over yet. On the far side of the field, the herd had returned again, scavenging for leftover crops. There they were, boars streaming in from all directions. This was the moment we were waiting for. The entire team moved in for the takedown. During the day, wild boars tend to stay hidden or move slowly. But when darkness falls, they grow bold. If you're thinking of joining a night hunt, make sure you're equipped and prepared. A single misstep can turn the hunt into a nightmare. Did the thrill of the chase get your adrenaline pumping? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more epic hunts coming your way.
The quiet countryside of South Alabama has been haunted by gunfire in recent years. It's farmers chasing wild hogs away from their farms and keeping their numbers in check. They destroy crops, ravage fields, chew up irrigation systems, and sometimes even attack livestock. Many times, standing amid the mounds of earth that have been dug up, rows of corn that have collapsed as if they've been crushed by a tractor, I felt a bitterness that chokes me to the core. I knew that if we didn't take action, the wild boars would cost us everything we owned. So I and the farmers in the area formed a wild boar hunting team and hunted wild boars every week. Today, like the previous hunts, we gathered at the edge of the forest. We split into groups and patrolled in different directions. Accompanying me were Rick and Clayton, my close friends and quite experienced in hunting wild boar. Suddenly, we heard a rustling sound. A big fat wild boar appeared. The wild boar seemed to feel no danger. It slowly walked and wallowed in the puddle. I held my breath, aiming and hitting its vulnerable spot. A loud explosion rang out, as if tearing the silence of the forest apart. The wild boar collapsed instantly. The sound of dogs barking echoed in the bushes. We knew that something was coming. Oh my God, be careful. Rick quickly raised his gun and fired. We were still shaking, our hearts pounding like drums, because this crazy boar almost attacked us. Wild boars are very aggressive. They can attack hunters if they feel dangerous. Therefore, we need to keep a safe distance to avoid being attacked by them. The safe distance to shoot wild boars should be applied at over 100 meters if at close range. We also need to have quick reflexes to deal with wild boars in all situations. At noon, while we were resting, we heard a series of strange noises coming from the east. As we focused our attention, a wild boar appeared behind a mound of earth. Rick gave the signal to shoot, and we quickly raised our guns. After a few gunshots, the wild boar was completely defeated. After harvesting the wild pigs, we continued moving deeper into the mountains. The canyons in Alabama have a higher density of trees, creating favorable conditions for wild pigs to breed and thrive. In the deep mountains of Alabama, the sound of owls and frogs creates a strange harmony and natural atmosphere of the wilderness that you cannot feel in the city. The hunting dogs are still constantly searching for wild boar shelters. From the drone, we can observe the location and number of a herd of wild boars. The wild boars were exhausted from being chased by hunting dogs, so we aimed at tricky positions and successfully took down quite a few wild boars. In the afternoon, we moved to the cattle pasture and prepared to finish the hunt. Clayton suggested setting up an ambush there to see if we could catch any more wild boars. After only about 30 minutes of searching, we discovered large wild boars running across the field. Wild boars love to dig up the soil in areas where cattle are grazing. Their digging activities also inadvertently reduce the grazing area for cattle, causing damage to farmers like us. So, exterminating wild boars is the most feasible measure we need to take. It may be a long battle, but we will fight to the end to protect our crops. Today's video ends here. How do you feel today? Please comment below to let us know. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel.
"40 wild boars in Morocco were taken down in just 3 hours. You heard that right. What exactly happened to them? Follow us to find out. Today, my hunting group and I headed to Morocco for a new challenge, hunting wild boars. Hunting wild boars here is legal and even encouraged by the government. That's why, during hunting season, many professional groups like ours come here to experience the thrill and break our previous records. After 4 hours of driving on dusty dirt roads, we finally arrived in Morocco. Unlike other places, hunting wild boars here does not require special permits as they are considered agricultural pests. With a clear plan laid out, we began our search for targets. About 10 minutes later, the first prey appeared. I quickly took it down with a single decisive shot. Luck was on our side again when a wild boar appeared at the foot of the mountain. The group got excited and immediately launched an attack. I chose the perfect shooting angle, held the gun steady, and pulled the trigger confidently. However, the boar moved quickly and kept changing directions. It took several shots before I finally brought down the vicious creature. Continuing the hunt, we moved to the mountain peak. There, I spotted a wild boar dashing across my path. Without hesitation, I fired. Despite being wounded, the boar still tried to escape. I chased after it immediately and fired another shot, bringing it down completely. We positioned hunters and our elite hunting dogs across all key locations. So, whenever wild boars appeared, they stood no chance of escaping our line of fire. Thanks to smart tactics, many wild boars were eliminated. From the top of the mountain, my eyes caught sight of a wild boar fleeing from the chasing dogs. I quickly got into position, gently raised my gun, and fired the moment I had a clear shot. With the sound of the shot, the dark figure immediately collapsed, motionless. Not far from the bushes, our clever dogs seemed to have caught a scent. They quickly launched their attack. Just a few firm shots from the barrel, and wild boars dropped to the ground, writhing in pain. The dogs rushed in, pinning down and finishing off the fierce beasts. No time to rest. Another echo of gunfire snapped me back into action. A dark shape charged down, but was immediately stopped by a veteran shooter like me. 3 loud gunshots rang out, ending the prey's escape once and for all. Following the barking of our hounds, we pushed through thick foliage and descended the mountainside. The dogs seemed to have picked up a strong scent and barked furiously. With the prey right in front of us, my friend held his breath, calmly pulled the trigger. At such close range, the brutal beast stood no chance. The next day, our phone notified us of a massive herd of wild boars in a nearby area. We decided to head there by car. It was a vast orchard where we planned a large-scale ambush. Suddenly, wild boars burst out of the bushes, charging across the road while being fiercely chased by our dogs. We kept loading and firing non-stop. Some of them ran incredibly fast, but most couldn't escape our scopes. After dealing with the boars in the orchard, we returned to the mountain area from the previous day to continue our mission. With a larger group and a clearer strategy, we were confident this would be a successful hunt. The entire herd panicked and scattered in all directions. Everything happened fast and fiercely. They kept growling and charging. We stayed fully focused, eyes locked on our moving targets. Gun barrels aimed and ready. The sound of gunfire echoed relentlessly as one by one, the wild boars fell. We brought our trophies back and took a break in the car, sharing our excitement from the hunt while enjoying Morocco's majestic scenery. Morocco, a beautiful land with dramatic hunts. We'll likely return next hunting season to break today's record. What did you think about our hunt? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell so you won't miss our next adventures.